Hi there, welcome to CarlaVoyance, where I discuss all things intuitive, Akashic records, and counselling. I'm the owner of Carla's Realignments and the author of various personal development books. I'm your host, Carla Savannah. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning, Patreon family. Welcome to our newest members, Kim, Julie, and Chanel. How did you go with recognizing the two stages that I mentioned in the last audio? These stages of love are very interesting, aren't they? Were you able to recognize the control of conditional love? Were you able to recognize when someone is starting to take full responsibility and accountability for their actions? When a person becomes more cooperative with others when entering the stage of stepping into love? Let's look at the next three stages, which focuses more on the needs of the soul. Starting with the stage of the discovery of love. This is the realm of the student of love. A person in discovery of love phase simply wants to learn and understand all there is to learn about love. They want to understand, what does love mean to them and what does it mean to others? They become curious about how they can feel loved and how they can show love towards others. So it's very much self-expressive. This person wants to express themselves with their lover. They discover that love is a two-way street. With a little to give, a little to take, it's a dance between two people. The most common emotions present for someone in the discovering of love are expressiveness, willingness, understanding. They're studious, they're the seeker, meaningful, rationalizing, they're curious, and it's all about growth mindset. This person is gaining emotional intelligence by talking themselves through their feelings mentally, rather than overreacting towards their feelings or their emotions. You can recognize this person by their constant need to communicate and ask many questions in their desire to understand people and themselves. The next stage is the state of being in love. In this state, a person understands others' perspectives. There's a sense of compassion that takes place for all living things. And when in love, a person has respect for themselves and for others as individuals, as well as a part of the bigger picture or the collective. Being in love feels fun, happy, playful, freeing, humorous, and expansive. This person is supportive of life, not draining of it. That's why these last three are often known as the needs of the soul. These people within love are optimistic, and this optimism just radiates outwardly. This stage can be confused with the blissful honeymoon period at the beginning of a relationship, but the only difference is that the honeymoon period does go away, and it does end. Whereas when you're in love state, that honeymoon period stays. A person is always smiling and appears to not be fazed by much. It's like they're in their own world, but really they're just open to all. The most common emotions felt here when you're in love are joyfulness, a sense of independent thinking, forgiving, insightfulness, intuitiveness, open heart, positiveness, emotional detachment, and self-motivated and very supportive of life. You can recognize them by their sense of self-empowerment and self-confidence. They present with a sense of extreme sureness and purpose or meaning to life. They know what they want and what they are doing. They have a very clear focus and intention. They're very deliberate in everything that they do and everything that they say. Now the last phase, of course, being unconditional love. This is quite simply the state of being at peace with all that is. This person is present, accepting, and peaceful. This person sees the perfection in every moment. They love without conditions, be it the nicest person in the world or their worst enemy. Love is all the same to them. It's completely unconditional. They can recognize and see the Creator in everything and everyone. This person is wise, conscious, and feels complete. You can recognize someone who is in a state of unconditional love by the state of awareness, presence, observation, stillness, and acceptance. The best thing I can compare it to is when a mother sits there watching her baby sleeping. It's a moment of where she feels so much unconditional love, a deep connection to another living being, knowing that she created that being, and she doesn't desire to be anywhere else at that moment in time. And she's just fully there, fully present, peacefully present, without any conditions. She wants to be there simply basking in her love for this other little human, not wanting or expecting anything in return from them at that moment in time. Very few allow themselves to completely submerge themselves in this feeling of bliss and peacefulness and acceptance and unconditional love. It can feel as though you're drowning and flying at the exact same time. You feel empowered and vulnerable at the exact same time. The blissful state is so ecstatic that you could cry for joy. This is what it's like to be in the presence of the Creator. Some people may feel out of their body when they're actually in this state of unconditional love. Start to recognize when people around you are in the discovery phase or already entering the phases of love by recognizing where you and others are on the scale. You will better be able to communicate and accommodate the people you are trying to interact with. For example, someone within the absence of love phase will find it way too much of a leap in consciousness to be able to understand what someone within the being in love phase might even feel like. There are too many other phases in between that hasn't yet been mastered before for a person who feels unloved. And the thought of being loved or happy just seems far beyond their comprehension. Each person needs to recognize where they are at, give themselves what they need, and then focus on the next step on the scale in order to move their way up the love scale in a steady way that will maintain long-term changes. If you're wanting to read up more about Carla's Love Scale, consider buying my books, 21st Century Relationships, Book 1 and Book 2. I go through this in detail more in Book 1. Please let me know if you have any questions around the topic of relationships or the love scale. Next month, I'll be delving into the topic of communication. So make sure you join us then for more posts and audios. I'm Carla Savannah, and I hope you have an amazing day. Mwah.